And hello, welcome to Uptown Tonight. It is February 2nd of 2022, 2222. So that's always fun. And it's also Groundhog's Day. And I don't know if the groundhog saw a shadow or not. The only thing that I saw pop up said something about its groundhog dying before its debut. So I don't know what's going on with any of that stuff. So I guess we're going to have, what is it, 6 weeks more winter or whatever?
Yep.
Does anyone even know? Yeah, something like that.
6 more months.
6 more months, yeah, in this place. It's
You live in the Midwest, you got to expect it.
But anyhow, welcome to the Uptown Tonight. We have Cito over here pushing buttons for us, and we got, today we have Cassidy, and I'm going to say Schnase?
Close, Schnase.
I wasn't even close. Not
you
the
got
last 3 weeks I've
right
been
sounds in there.
slaughtering last names, so it's been kind of fun that way. Over 3, Schnase, huh?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I like that. And I am your host, Wayne Stallenfacher, or Discount Tom Cruise, or, The Wiz, whatever the hell you want to call me today. I don't really care. So, the best thing you can do for us right now is hit that subscribe button, like, share, and do all that commenting stuff. That'd be awesome. Awesome. You can also comment on the live chats in here and join in the discussion if you'd like to as well. So, this week, we got to do some really fun stuff. So we're going to have Cito pull that all up here. We got to open for Hairball on Friday night in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And now I got to know Sioux Falls just a little too much these past few days, but we'll get into that in just a moment. And we'll go down to the slides there. Yes. And that's what I got to learn.
Looks like fun.
Oh, that was not fun. But the next picture was a lot of fun.
You had to do it with 2 starters.
Right there. We got to play the Pentagon Event Center, basically. And that was probably around 2,000 people out there. Look at that stage. And that's the part they gave us. That place was freaking awesome. We'll just say that was an experience.
Yes. I don't know. A lot of people, I went home and told my family about the show, and my daughter's not. And my youngest daughter's seen Hairball, too. And she says, I know they have fireballs. You can feel the heat.
Oh, they were crazy. Because I thought we did great. Those guys took us to church. They just, there was no standing on there. So here's, we got some shots from the side here. I think that's Hairball themselves playing. And then there's the crowd from the side. Yeah, that's Hairball playing. Because that was the guitar player right there.
I was doing a flip when I took this picture.
He was. The energy was that high. There's us hitting South Dakota. And you can see a little bit of the fireball there. The pyrotechnics, what they say, they had like 128 shots.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was.
They were building it like a fireworks show when we got there. So, and this is the side view of the place, where you never really get to see like the backstage kind of the way it looks, but that's the way it's just dark, and there's a whole bunch of people back there too running the show.
Big, and then you can get a better view. So you can see all the crowds are like going up the sides, and then everyone out front, and that was just a ton of fun. So
and big
thank you, Hat and
yeah.
Hairball and all those guys out there that had us come in, do this, and Tyler from the Pentagon himself. They treated us extremely well. All the people in Hairball treated us extremely well. I mean, they're great people. So it was a ton of fun. Do it again anytime, any second. And then my Mustang Minute is not of this week because it turned into the Expedition Hour.
And that's what you were doing with that starter?
Yep. This is the first picture you saw there. The starter decided to give out as soon as we got into the loading dock. And, I've been down to Sioux Falls 3 times in the past 4 days getting that thing going. But she's running. She's back in the driveway. Everything's good. The greatest story I have from all that stuff is that I went down with my daughter and her boyfriend. We drove down there to try to actually take the starter out and do a big old parking lot job because I'm ghetto like that. And it didn't quite happen, so I had to have it towed to the Ford dealership. But then we decided to go and get some dinner before we head back. Well, of course, there's 3 of us in the car. No one can decide what's going on. We tried to hit a Chili's. The Chili's had an hour wait for a Chili's. All right. And then we went around and found some other places, and my daughter was really pushing for Denny's. I don't know why, but she wanted to go to Denny's really, really bad.
Breakfast for supper.
Yeah. So problem was the Denny's was like 25 minutes away in town. And while we're going there, we're like going by restaurant after restaurant, and the parking lots are all completely packed. You finally get to this Denny's, and we're wasting a half an hour to get there. And there's literally one car in the parking lot. All the lights are on, one car in the parking lot. We drove up, and that was so sketch that we just drove away. That wasn't going to happen. So then we went and got fancy, like hit the Applebee's, and we were coming home. But that was the best story out of everything that happened down there. Or else it was just spending money and getting stuff going. But let's get to our guest today. Cassidy, how are we doing?
We're doing good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Every time I drive past those signs that say replay games, I always want to stop. I haven't done it yet. I will do it at some point. But it's just, to me, I think someone was... How long have you been around?
This is our 4th year.
Okay, so yeah, it was a couple of years ago. Someone was telling me about like a place you can go and play retro games and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just nuts. Like, how do you make that work? But apparently it's working for you. So I think you're just living the dream here. Like
More or less.
Yeah. There's probably like a billion people behind you wondering what your secrets are. Don't give them away. But, let's find out about this. So what is All About Replay Games? What is it?
Yeah, so it's basically the store that I always wish existed growing up, and no one's never done it, and I got tired of waiting. And so we have over 6,000 games from the new Switch all the way to the original Atari. Hopefully later this year we'll finally get our PS5s on board. But yeah, it's just been a wild ride. We just sell nostalgia by the hour.
That is sweet, because this is my nostalgia room, basically. So no, Cassidy was looking around, checking out a few of the things that I have here. But how did that even get started? How do you get something like that started besides, like, to me, I find all my stuff like at garage sales and estate sales and stuff like that. I can't believe that you just be running around doing that.
Well, more or less. I mean, that was what I did before we were open.
Okay.
I did a lot of garage sales and stuff like that. But in my personal collection, I had about 1,600 games. And then
he puts me
just
to
a
shame.
few. But basically what happened was the funny story of it is my wife, who we've been together for over a decade, and so she's known me for a long time, and she said, you've talked about this idea for a really long time, that wouldn't it be cool if there wasn't just a place they went and bought and sold games, but also shared in that enjoyment of playing games? So she kind of got fed up with me talking about this idea, challenged me to write the business plan, finding out, is it even worth doing? And she was actually hoping that it was going to shut me up and discourage me. But here we are 4 years later, and her gamble failed. So
Little did they know.
Yeah. But no, we had over 1,600 games in my personal collection. And then as we were developing that business plan, Cashwise Video was a rental store in town that closed.
Yep.
So they were selling all their games for really cheap, and I went and bought all their games. And then when we actually got the loan official,
I owe you one of those games that I still have. It has Cashwise on it, so
Cito.
stop by and bring that to you.
There you go. But yeah, so anyways, when we got our loan and everything, we went and Dilworth Sam's Club closed, so we bought all their games, and Toys R Us in Fargo closed, and then we actually absorbed an inventory out of New York. And so that was about 2,000 games there that we bought as well. And so
Wow.
we got to open our stores. Day one was May 1st, 2018, with over 3,600 unique titles ready to play.
Is that just luck, or were you just that good?
It's a lot of luck. I mean, it was just good timing, really. Those opportunities that appeared where, like Toys R Us closing, so we got their games were, 50% off or more, except for the systems. They were keeping the systems up in value, but the games they had really discounted. And then,
And so they're just liquidating everything else, so you didn't have to move it.
pretty much, yeah. And then, I mean, with us having an actual storefront now, we do buy and sell with customers all the time. And the first time a game comes into the store, if we don't have it for the arcade, it goes into the arcade catalog. So I joke with people, you're not really losing the game because you can always come back and play it. But anyways, if it's a game we already have, we just turn around and sell it. So
That's very interesting. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like the old internet cafes they used to have back in the day. I don't know if there's anything out there like that anymore because everyone just goes to Starbucks. But so it's the same kind of concept.
more or
Is it-
less, one of our closest competitors was Section 9. They just recently, unfortunately, closed doors right before Christmas here. But they did a lot more of the high-end PC gaming, VR, and esports.
Yes, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, but anyways, they built their model off of the internet cafe, and I didn't want necessarily a cafe type thing. I just wanted to focus on video games was our thing. And so that's how I came up with this idea that I just wanted a place that shared in that enjoyment of playing games and, talk about what the positive and good that video games can do for people.
Positive and good?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Social skills. Teaching kids how to lose well and lose appropriately is really important, and I think they don't get a lot of that.
That's a great concept. I never even thought of it that way. Of course, I never even thought about other than playing video games, just like at the console TV here back when I was growing up.
Right.
2 people could probably play at the same time, and if someone got mad, That's basically how it went.
Yeah.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
That's about it. So take us through, like, if you go through your store, what can we expect?
Yeah, so when you first come in, we have a little bit of a sales area. Like I said, we do buy and sell games, and so duplicates we have on our shelves for sale. And so the first thing you'll see is our merch and our games for sale, and then we have, drinks and snacks and stuff like that. But then right behind that, you'll start seeing a bunch of TVs. And so we have 25 TVs on the floor, including one of those is an old tube TV, a CRT that we need to have for the duck hunt.
You got to have that,
So
yes.
that doesn't work without the, if you put duck hunt on a new TV, a standard TV, it's not going to work.
Unfortunately, but that's okay.
It's really funny how that actually, do you know why it doesn't work?
It's something to do with the flash
Yep.
technology. I looked this all up a long time ago, but I couldn't explain it.
Yeah, so when you pull the trigger, what happens is that it tells the system to clear the screen to black. And so for one frame, 1/60th of a second, you'll see a flash. And so we talk about the flash.
Yep.
And if you're looking at the duck, you'll see a white box. And so that one frame is a black screen with a white box where that duck used to be. And the gun has a sensitive, kind of like a camera. It's a sensitive diode, basically, that looks for that white flash.
Oh, that makes perfect
Wow.
sense.
Yeah.
Now you
That's
know.
science right there.
And so what happens with these newer TVs is there's built-in latency for that digital signal. And so when you pull that trigger, it might flash, it might not flash, but if it can't see that flash, and usually what happens is the flash is delayed. And so it's an instant on the trigger. So when you pull that trigger, it's got to be right then when it sees that flash. If it's even a millisecond behind, it's not going to see that flash because it's that instant. So
Digital. You got to stay with the analog.
analog is better in some cases.
It is. So that's really cool. No, loving all that. But let's get to know who you are. So where'd you come from? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
So I'm from out by Minot originally. I was born in a town.
Coming out west, coming
Yep.
to the east side again.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. So small town. When my parents had me, they were living in Martin, North Dakota.
I have no idea.
When I was born, I brought the population to 100.
Yeah.
So anyways, my dad was a entrepreneur. He had his own business that he started there. It did not do well, unfortunately, so they closed up shop and moved to Fargo to start over, basically.
Okay.
And then for a number of years,
And
my
how
dad,
old were you at this point?
I was about 2 when they actually moved to Fargo.
Okay.
So, but my grandparents still are out, and Animus is the town.
Animus?
Just 16 miles north of Harvey.
I know where Harvey is.
Yeah, so if you know where Harvey is, you'll on your way to Minot, you'll go right past Animus. So
Animus. That's kind of fun to say.
the joke is when you're coming back, there's Drake is just 6 miles past Animus, so you can see Drake Animus while you're going there. So
That's terrible.
but anyways, yeah, so we're out from west there, and then my parents moved to Fargo. So I grew up in Fargo, but I had like a weird dual childhood where we still went to the farm and did the farm work. And so I have a lot of friends that I would have graduated in school if I stayed in the farming community. So it's just kind of crazy how I have like my friends here and then my friends there. So
Well, that's cool. So what school did you go to in Fargo then?
Fargo North.
Another
so
Fargo Northie.
I was a Spartan.
Yeah, all my best friends came from Fargo North. I'm a Spud, Moorhead.
Sure. We liked football. We just sucked at it. So
I don't know. My whole thing was music, and for some reason, all my musical friends came out of Fargo North. There wasn't really many in Moorhead at that time. So.
sure.
So.
Music has gotten a lot better in the recent years, I feel like, in this last decade, as far as the students and their interest in it.
Oh, yeah. Things have been building. It's been great. So that's part of this podcast, too. Your weekly entertainment podcast, the FM area. This is trying to build up the entertainment stuff even more. So this is really cool having you in here. And then mainly because you can tell I do the nostalgia freaking gaming nerdy stuff, and then I saw that you're an actual expert at this thing.
It's definitely been my life's passion, basically. I mean,
and to me, it was like, how in the hell do you make that actually work for you?
Yeah.
But
well, and so the business model is based off of selling by an hour, basically. So we have a 1 hour pass for $7, 2-hour pass is $12, all day is $15. But that's all built off of what the research when I was writing the business plan came about. We
okay.
If you look at like buying brand new games, which are $60, and now they're supposedly going to be increasing with this next generation, like EA is trying to push a $70 game, and it's not being received well.
Okay.
But the Destiny 2 Deluxe is a $99 pre-order for the Witch Queen.
Yeah, most of those games, I mean, you see a special edition version, you're pushing $90 easily. And so you're seeing that increase in price. But just looking at the $60 game, if you were to buy only new games, a lot of people buy used and, Game Pass and stuff like that, save where they can. But brand new games, $60, if you finish that game from a developer's perspective, you're winning the lottery because developers have to make a game that they expect half their audience won't finish. Which is crazy that you buy a game you don't finish, but I did that all the time growing up. There's plenty of games that, like, especially with the Super Nintendo, where they're so difficult to play. Those games were designed in the arcades to eat quarters, right?
Yeah.
So you had to get good with them, otherwise you'd never see the ending.
Exactly. That's angry video game nerd.
Exactly.
That's exactly where he came from.
So you got half the audience that hopefully finished your game. The other half would have played a portion of it, but did they finish half the game? Did they finish a quarter of the game? So anyways, you extrapolate from that for that $60 purchase, the average is about $8 an hour on your entertainment for a 10 to 12 hour game. So you figure that out, and it's like, okay, well, we wanted to offer that at a discount. That doesn't even include the cost of the console, the TV, any extra gizmos or things you might want. So custom controllers or something, but yeah. So we wanted to offer that at a discount and, just like I said, invite people to come and enjoy games and share that enjoyment.
Oh, that's great. So when are you open normally?
So we're open 7 days a week now.
Oh.
I just hired a fifth part-time employee. So we got part-time employees that help fill out the hours so I can have a break myself. But it used to be just me and my wife. And even before then, it was just me. So pushing 60 hours a week is like my light weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Where are you located at?
We're downtown Fargo next to Jail Beers and Vinyl Taco. So we're on the corner.
Oh, okay, right there.
Yeah, 1st Avenue and 5th Street North. We're in what's called the Exchange Building down in the basement. So we joke that, why play in your parents' basement? We can play in ours.
Oh, nice.
That's perfect. So you have like any things that you do with this, like tournaments or anything like that?
We do a bunch of different events. Tournaments is something that we're sort of getting into. The biggest issue we've had with tournaments is I've discovered that as soon as you put in competition or tournament, it throws a lot of people off. Like they don't think that they're that competitive, but they want to have a good time. And so we do get-togethers, basically, and if we have enough people that are interested, then we'll throw a tournament together.
Okay. So how would that tournament actually work? To me, the newer video games, I'm completely lost. Where I stopped at was Guitar Hero, and I can play some Nazi zombies, but that's it.
It really depends on the game. So Smash Brothers is easy. It's 3 stock. Whoever is still standing at the end of it is the winner, right?
Okay.
So you can throw a single, double elimination tournament, no problem. Mario Kart, we do a free-for-all tournament, and so it's 4 players, and then whoever scores the most points wins. Each race, when you're doing a tournament cup in that, you get points at the end of each race.
Okay.
So after a set of 4, it'll tell you how many points you've gotten. So it's really easy, straightforward, and then you can just streamline it pretty easily. Gets a little bit interesting with games like Fortnite is like, how do you create a standard off of that?
Yeah.
And I came across, there was a company that was, I think they're in South Carolina, but they unfortunately no longer around anymore, but they had a really cool standard that I really liked. And it was, you get points for how well you placed, points for how many kills you got, and then you could even do assists in like dual tournaments with that as well.
Oh, okay. So you just take the stats. And
Then so and then
assign them a point.
You can do like, you have 4 matches you take your top 3 and you assign points off of that. So that way you can throw out your worst match too. So
interesting. No, that's, I found out that I didn't even realize I got the Apple II sitting right in front of me. And I was playing the good old, why am I blowing the name at the moment? Oregon Trail.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, so I had to run some power through that thing as it's been sitting for a little while. And then I went on like the hardest way you can do it. I think it was like be a farmer or something like that.
Yeah, the bankers got all the money, so.
Exactly. And then I made it all the way to the end and nobody died. A lot of dysentery, a lot of broken arms, so we've all made it. And then all of a sudden it was like it gave me like points. And I got like all these bonus points
Yeah.
for going as the farm. I didn't even realize this thing gave points.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I don't know how long that thing's been out.
There's
and
probably a world
around.
record for the most points in
Yeah.
that game.
But I was still only second. There's still someone that was better than me that was from that disc. So
Well, I have to remember, so the original Oregon Trail didn't have any graphics. It was all text-based.
Yep.
And so is that what your copy is, or is it the color one?
no, it's not the color one. It's the one right after that.
Monochrome.
Just because
Sure.
it was the one that I remembered from playing at the computer labs
Yeah.
when I was growing up because you can do the little hunting thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
basically the first shooter game out there.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first, but
You were just supposed to kill like one buffalo, but we killed like everything.
yeah,
that was
exactly.
Yeah.
That was the fun part. So that's all we ever did. We went in there and
killed
just went
900
hunt.
pounds of
Gotta go
meat.
hunt.
Right.
Gotta go hunt.
But it's crazy because I think that the first one, it was 1971 or 76, was the text-based one.
Yep.
But it was I didn't know that it was a commission from the state level.
Yeah, it started off as like a card game
Yeah.
where I know you can go like to Target and get that card game. I don't think it was like that, but
Mhm.
it was you rolled dice and it's all
Yeah.
that
It's
other
like a
fun stuff.
Yu-Gi-Oh match. I choose dysentery.
Was that? Nope. So I don't know. I just didn't realize that there was points based on there, so I just had to comment on that. Oh, I love that shit.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and then so we do have retro PCs as well. So the Internet Archive actually is a really cool resource where you can play a lot of those games just through a web browser.
That's cheating, though.
Yep.
You got to have the original
I
equipment.
agree. But we had to get around it somewhere.
So what? Yeah, I think you already went through it, but like, what's your oldest console that you have out there?
So the Atari 2600 and the Magnavox Odyssey 2 would be pretty close to tying. The Odyssey 2 was a little bit older, so
Is the Odyssey 2 older than the Atari?
the Odyssey 1 was older, sorry, yeah. So it's the Odyssey
Okay.
2 came out right afterwards, and then the 2600 is actually turning 45 this year in September 77,
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah, I got one right there, and then I got a couple parts ones out in the thing. Oh, I didn't know that the Odyssey came out before that. That's interesting.
Well, the Odyssey 1 came out
Yeah.
before, and that one you had to get the
That's by
overlays.
Magnavox.
Yeah. You had those plastic overlays you put on your TV that actually showed you what you're doing.
Yes. I remember this now.
Yeah.
I remember this now. No, my friend down the street actually had the Odyssey 2, so that's how I knew about it.
Right on.
And then another friend the other way had the TI 99. That's how we knew about that one.
You didn't have anybody with like the ColecoVision or Intellivision?
I got one that I found at a thrift store, and I have yet to hook it up. It looks pretty janky. I don't think it's going to work. But no, actually, a friend did have one. It had like 4 different games on there, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's all just paddle-based stuff. So
Oh yeah.
if anyone knows what paddle-based is, it's Pong.
Well, Pong or tennis.
Guess you can go that way.
Right. Well, it's so funny because there's the Ultimate Video Game Podcast that I listen to where they've been going very slowly through the years, and like they're just now getting into the 80s.
Oh, nice.
But anyways, they were talking about the Pong clones, and so there's tennis and doubles, and there's quadruple tennis and super tennis, and like I don't know, there's over a dozen copies of this one game.
yeah, of course. There wasn't much to it, but there it goes. And then you'd mentioned something about the PlayStation 5s. Now, I've noticed that as well, and I just pick your brain a little bit on this one, is that they've been out for a year, haven't they?
Yeah,
least-
just over. Anyways, they've been out for a while, and the biggest issue is you just can't get a hold of them. So
Exactly, but
yeah.
why is that? Is that just because of the chip shortage, or is it because everyone just snacks them up that much, or are they just not producing anything?
they're
Are they
saying
trying
it's
to
the
make
chip
it-
shortage is the big thing. I mean, so they can't make. Well, I don't know if they've resolved the problem yet or not, but it used to be that they would make some consoles on the state side because it was cheaper to make it versus shipping them. But they pissed off their U.S. chip supplier, is what I had heard.
Oh,
so I haven't
okay.
verified that one at all, but that's what I had heard, and it makes sense. I mean, it's always been harder to get some of these consoles, but it makes sense in the fact that it's also hard to get Xbox Series, and so the fact that it's hard to get both of them. The Series is slightly easier.
Slightly.
But then it's also really difficult if you want to get the disc-based console versus the digital console.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like the disc base that's more, right?
It costs about $100 more. Yeah.
But in my book, after like the PlayStation 4, I seen my son had it for a while. And that's where I learned how to play the Fortnites.
Yep.
I wasn't good at that. It was just I was just a button masher. But what's the actual difference? Why would you want the PlayStation 5? It was basically they say it's just a mini gaming computer that's just a console.
That's one of the things that we're getting into is that these consoles are getting more and more closer to what you can just get in a computer anyways.
Exactly.
But the down the road issue is that you're going to see the exclusive games for that system. That's always the argument as to which way you're going to go on a system. Is, do you want to play Halo or do you want to play God of War? Those games are going to be specific to those platforms. And Xbox it's an interesting beast because Microsoft is doing something where they have their Xbox on the go. You can play it wherever you're at. And so you can play it on your phone, you can play it on your console, on your computer. They want it so you can pause the game and resume it on another system.
Interesting.
And so it's not so much of a physical platform as it is a digital platform. And that's my little bit of I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but my idea is why Microsoft is buying up all these studios is for the licensing so they can add it to this digital platform.
No, that sounds like something they would do.
But anyways.
So is this Microsoft versus PlayStation or Sony? Is that basically just like Blu-ray versus HD DVD? Is that kind of like that? Beta versus VHS? Is this kind of how it's working?
It's kind
out?
of how it's just competition. I mean, they're gonna make their own hardware for the fact that they want to sell their games on it, and so that's why you get those exclusives, and that's why you're only gonna find Mario on a Nintendo console, right?
Yeah.
But we might see that change in this next generation too, where Nintendo is starting to do some copyright licensing for PC-based play. So,
but then again, you got Apple and Microsoft, Apple versus PC.
Yeah, and I think what really defines video games, though, as far as like why you play and how you play, is the games were designed for that equipment, and so the games that are made in today's standard, they're on every system, on every computer. They're universal. They play the same more or less. And so you could play Fortnite on Xbox or a PS4, and you probably won't notice any difference, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
But when you get into the conversation of like emulating games, the old games, like you play Mario on the regular Nintendo or Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, and then you try to emulate that on any other device. If you're a purist, you'll notice the difference.
I do notice. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing as like listening to raw format music versus on a compressed MP3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about that fidelity.
Very, very good point on that. Very, very good point. So, Cito, we need to figure out what's going on this weekend. We have that coming up as well. So
we do.
But I want to tease it with this. What do you think the future of gaming is going into? As I see a lot of this VR stuff and whatever else coming out, and I have a little knowledge about it. I just want to pick your brain about that. I know it's going to take a little while to get through that, so we're going to go through this stuff earlier than normal. So, Cito, what's happening this weekend?
This is Cito here with Nintendo Power. We're going to be giving you guys some cheat codes. This is the cheat code for Mega Man 2. Uptown Report. This is what we got going on this weekend. I'm having a good time here talking about video games. I'm a real video game guy. So Windbreak, we got 2 weeks notice on Thursday, and then some shitty cover band on Friday. Unleashed is out there on Saturday. At the Southtown Poorhouse, the Unleashed will be there Friday night, and then we will be up there Uptown on Saturday night. At the Shooting Star Casino, we got Bella Diva on Friday to Saturday at the Mustang Lounge. And then at the TAC, we have Long Live Tazzy.
Some kind of festival.
Yeah, something going on there. The Downtown Acoustic Corner on Thursday, we got Mike King at JC Chumley's, and Rick Adams is at the 701. On Friday, we got Matt Ockery at the Swing Barrel and Jim White at Tailgaters. Saturday, January 5th, Nick Klein is at Unwind and the South 26 Flying Pig Silver Dollar. Oh, it's South 26 is the band. South 26 is at the Flying Pig. And then Michael Pink is at the VFW. Downtown, we got JC Chumley's. The Front Fenders are going to be out there rocking. And then at Specs, we got Liquored Up Friday to Saturday. Bar 9, Guys and Dolls are out there Friday. And then at the Silver Spike, DJ Lee is out there Friday. And then at Murphy's Pub, we'll be out there on Friday night. So hopefully it's not 50 below.
Yeah. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
25 below.
We got lucky when we went down to the hairball. It was T-shirt weather.
Oh, it was like 40.
Yeah, it was 40. Like, yeah, T-shirt weather. Midwest people. Just put your beer outside.
There wasn't even snow outside the venue.
I love it. The Fargo VFW, Smith & Levin 6-String Circus out there Thursday and Saturday.
Darren!
Yeah, and Friday Brewing Company, the Naughties are out there. And then side street, we got JB Layton on Thursday, and then the Sons of Norway Troll Lounge. We were just talking about that place, right? We had pictures up of that last week.
Yep.
Make sure you get out there for the open mic night. And that's Peter and them were talking about that, right? That's where they all do the little jam and... Yeah, make sure if you're an acoustics player, if you're new or a vet, just get out there and go check it out. It seems pretty fun. So that's happening.
By the Amp School of Rock.
There you go. And in the downtown at Dempsey's, Gina Powers is hosting her open mic on Thursdays, so make sure you get out there. Brothers Bum Mountain on Friday will be out there. Aquarium, Roots Within Feet, and Pat Leonard's are out there in the Dank Cold Sweat on Saturday.
They got the greatest name.
And the DCR, which I call drum cloth. I couldn't read the little Nordic letters they had. I thought it was called drum cloth, like a cloth or something. So it's the open mic night Thursday. They're having their thing out there, so make sure you get out there. And the Delta Urban 42, Kathy Brecky, and the 42nd Street Jazz Band will be out there on Thursday. So we got to shorten these up. I'm running out of breath. Out of Town, the original and Whiskey Talkin' is on Friday and Saturday. And then our favorite place in the Bismarck, Mandan area, the Laughing Sun Brewery, we got Tyler Couture out there on Thursday, and then SPG General on Saturday. The Sandbar 2 in Detroit Lakes, Tig Egelbrotten will be out there on Friday. And then that's it for me with the weekend report. Let's get back to the gaming.
Yeah, exactly. I really, really been getting into like just the idea of doing VR gaming to me just blows my mind. And PS4 came out with it. I literally stood in line on a Black Friday at what was a Target, I think, in somewhere Minneapolis. I don't even remember where it was in Minneapolis. Just to get the VR stuff, so I had the excuse to go buy the PlayStation 4. And lo and behold, all the employees, because we were the first ones back there, all the employees already snagged up all the cool stuff, so there wasn't anything left. And all I wanted to do was play the Star Wars game. I wanted to ride an AT-AT, so I got my AT-AT up there. What is this VR thing? Where did it come from? What's going on with this?
Yeah, virtual reality is an interesting concept, and there's it's kind of a hybrid industry because you got VR, virtual reality, and AR, augmented reality.
Okay.
So virtual reality, you put on a goggle headset, it's going to display the world around you. And then augmented reality will do a similar thing, but their glasses or headset will take your surroundings and make things come to life. And so Microsoft had their Halo project, which I think they've postponed. I don't know if they've outright canceled it, but the Halo will be augmented reality where you could be in a business meeting and be sitting at a table, but you'd be the only one in the room, but you could still see your friends at the table with you because they'd be sitting at their respective places in the world.
Oh, interesting.
So it's an interesting concept. It's augmented reality is augmenting your reality, whereas virtual reality is a virtual reality. So that's how you kind of split those up.
Do you guys have anything like that over at the Replay Games?
Not yet. We have 90s VR, so we got the Virtual Boy.
Oh, okay. Is that supposed to like give you headaches and stuff?
Yeah, it's not recommended for if you're under 8 years old.
Not recommended under 8.
But yeah, so we do the Virtual Boy. We have a few games for, and it's funny because that system's worth $150 broken.
Seriously? I thought that was like something a couple of years ago. They found like a whole shipping carton full of them.
That was the Atari stuff. Yeah, that was buried.
Oh, that was Atari?
Yeah, Atari. So
I thought it was a Virtual Boy.
Slight segment is the 1983, the video game crash of the 80s.
Yeah.
And so the Atari, the market was oversaturated. A lot of people blame E.T. and Pac-Man because they're horrible design games, and
I figured out how to beat E.T. So
which isn't good. I mean, the developer really liked his game. He made it in 6 weeks.
As I remember watching a video about they took all these E.T. games and they brought them to a dump and just buried them all, and then they went out and they found them. At least they think they found them.
They did a archaeological dig for it, and so they actually went and excavated them and found them.
See, there's real history right there. Digging up old E.T. games.
Yeah. So anyways, with the VR stuff, I mean, I do think the long grand scheme of things that you're going to see a pretty wide rift where you're going to see the AAA stuff's going to push digital.
Okay.
But the hardcore indie developments will see the physical releases for those passionate players. Myself included, I prefer physical just from a copyright standard.
Understood.
If you own a physical copy of something, you have the copyright and the usage rights of that copyright. So
cool. So what do you see for at least what's going to be coming out with VR, like Oculus Rift and all that stuff?
Yep.
Am I saying that right? I don't even know.
The biggest
do you know
issue
anything
is,
about this? Or am I just?
I know a bit about it. So the biggest issue right now is that they're pushing the technology as best they can.
Okay.
Biggest issue is when you put like a 4K screen up in your goggles here, it's hard to get that kind of resolution in there, and then the power to actually show you what you're doing in a virtual reality environment. So a lot of those are showing like a 720p signal, and so they're getting better now with their 1080 and stuff like that. But it's the pixel density is problematic, especially when it's this close to your face. And so eventually, I mean, if you've ever seen the
science talk, pixel
right?
density,
when you get to like Ready Player One, I don't know if you've heard of that movie.
I
and
haven't
book.
watched it yet. And
Sure.
Shame on me. I should have seen this a long time ago.
In that story, anyways, they talk about like the laser systems drawing it onto your pupil retina and stuff like that. So it's like trying to imagine like technology being that well designed that it's not going to just fry your eyes.
Well, it's Elon Musk. They're going to put that
Right?
thing in your head. What's that
Exactly.
thing called again?
I don't know.
I can't
I
remember.
was just thinking you're sleeping. All of a sudden you hear Elon talking to you. It's time to wake up.
Right.
What?
It's Elon.
We joke at the store though, if like sometimes we'll forget to turn up the volume on a TV.
Yep.
Easy thing to do. And so the customer come up and ask for volume on their TV. And it's like, oh, you don't got the neural optic add-on yet? So
What?
Elon just came through here. Where
Right.
are you? No, so that's cool. So you think that's going to be like the future of gaming is basically going to go all VR, or do you still think it's going to have like a control
I think it'll have
mechanism?
both. I think it'll take a long time for VR to be the only way to do it, just because one, the technology isn't there yet, and the cost to get into it is expensive. Like the Oculus makes it easier, but it's not as good as like an HTC Vive where you need a powerful computer to run it. The Oculus will run it all included in the headset, but the technology to fit into that headset is limited because
And that's
of
the
the
one
size.
that's got the two little.
They all come with little
thingy
types of
thingies.
joysticks. The Steam has their Knuckles or whatever they're called that has like the ability to sense how tightly you're squeezing something, and so you can actually like pick up and like physically hold things that way. It's a really interesting concept. So
Interesting.
Surgeon simulator.
but I do think that we'll always see both, just because depending on the age of the person, like they just can't handle VR, or like myself, I get really nauseous, motion sickness.
Oh, really?
And so like you're going to lose your target market if you force them down one road.
So it's kind of the same thing as they put up those warnings with the Wii and stuff
Yeah.
saying that
The Virtual Boy.
that too. There's a different type of problem going on.
Yeah.
So everyone gets sick. Really?
Yeah, so I suffer from motion sickness. The developers find out different ways that help reduce that. So one of my friends, instead of like moving your character around with the joystick, they actually do this to make you move. So it's like you're foot walking. But this kind of movement helps your brain understand what it's doing in the virtual reality.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
it's like everything's moving around you, but you're physically not doing
Right,
anything.
yeah, your brain isn't
your brain
dumb,
just-
so
yeah.
it knows what's going on. It knows that something weird is happening.
And it says, "Get the hell out
I
of
wonder
here."
if they could make like you teach you music like that with drums and stuff. I mean, there's got to be a future for that when it gets
yeah.
way
well, that's
better.
what I'm thinking, because people were talking about like there's these places you can go where basically you can like play pool with your friends from across the across the nation. And it's just something to do with VR.
Yep. Yeah, the usability of it is going to just skyrocket. I think you'll see a lot of those kind of skilled-based type things. I mean, you can learn how to weld that way. And I mean, when I was in high school, I remember a story in like 2001 of a doctor doing a successful surgery overseas through remote control.
Oh, seriously? Like with the
Yeah.
robot type thing?
Yep. I think it was like 2001 or 2002. But yeah, he was controlling a robot and did surgery across the seas.
Wow.
That is
So,
freaking
I can't remember if it was
crazy.
from the States to the UK or vice versa, but it was something like that.
Surgeon
Science.
simulator. I'm signing up now.
Man, no, this is all starting to blow my mind. So, you start do stuff like that, and I know they drive the drones that way too for all
Yep.
Air Force stuff now,
Yeah.
so pilots might be going extinct here.
Well, you
But
think
that's just
that
getting into something
it wouldn't be
completely different.
necessarily extinct, but it's it's going to save man lives that have to pilot an aircraft. And so the biggest issue that they need to deal with is when, thankfully they have technologies that help back up a system when all of a sudden they lose connection to the servers or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like they'll talk about how, if you have like a drone out there, it'll just go into a certain pattern until it runs out of fuel and crashes.
Oh, I did not know that either.
Yeah,
so people like, poor Tom Cruise here in the Top Guns.
I like how he's always centered. Just he's like he's part of the
perfect in
show.
frame. I didn't even realize that.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Or you with the slot child. No, so cool. So do you ever plan on getting some VR stuff in there?
Yeah, the biggest issue right now is we're just maxed out on our space.
Oh,
and so
that's
hopefully we can look at a larger space here.
sounds like our van.
But yeah, so with the biggest, it has real estate that you need to have for VR. And so with the PlayStation VR, you can do it sitting, but if you're going to do VR right, you're going to want to do it with a Vive or something with the Steam Deck stuff, just because Steam's got some really cool stuff with their Knuckles controller that they developed, but then the Vive is like the front runner of that VR technology.
Okay, so Steam, that's that thing that's online, right? Where you basically get all the games from?
Yeah, so
Or
that's
is
where
there-
Steam makes most of its money, is through their online portal there that, houses all of your games.
Yes.
But they also make hardware that they've been experimenting with as well.
they're
they've
making
been-
hardware now.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
Steam Deck that they're coming out with is going to compete with the Switch.
My son's been gone for 2 years. I'm getting
And then
behind.
they got their VR stuff that's coming out that's supposed to really be quite interesting to see how that's going to evolve the VR scene.
Oh.
But the other thing, like you talked about too, is like how, is it going to take over gaming? But so John Carmack was the guy who developed Doom.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, I was listening to him on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how, like, even for him with their deep dives, like 3-4 hours, they have to take a break because it's just too much for your brain. The stimulation is too much.
Oh, I watched that one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that now.
So I feel like once they can kind of figure out what's causing the brain to get overloaded in that regard, we could see something like that becoming more mainstream. But I don't know if we'll see it on the market penetration that the Wii had with like the older demographics and stuff. Because like the Wii is used for like physical therapy in retirement homes.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
we gotta go. We got the bowling machine.
right.
Poor we.
But you think about like with like virtual tours and stuff like that. At our church, we're working with our one missionaries team that they got these orbital cameras that they're putting on the planes, and we'll be
Okay.
able to put on a VR headset and see the bush of Rwanda. Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
It is. This is getting.
See, I thought of that idea when I played GTA 5. I was like driving through, and there's a lot of the scene that in GTA 5 that looks like the city. You know, I
Yep.
mean, it's compressed and smaller, but there's a lot where you feel like you're there in the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking it'd be cool with VR. Like, what if they made like a thing where you could tour the world with these VRs? So I'm that was years ago. So
Isn't that what Facebook's trying to do?
Right. Well, I
the
mean, a lot
metaverse?
of that stuff is based off of real places. I don't remember which town it is that the different GTA cities are, but they send their artists to actual places. And so, like, you'll see little Easter eggs like that of places that are lookalikes to real businesses in the world.
pretty cool.
Man. Man. What's going on? Oh. Okay. I just want to get out of the VR thing now. That's just. Do you have the VR for the PlayStation 4?
Not for in the store. It's such a solo, single-player focus
Okay.
mindset with that we don't offer it, but we have sold them in stores, so...
Okay. Would you recommend that at all, or are they just pretty janky?
It's just a different way to experience some games. It really depends on the game.
Okay.
So like we're got one on the shelf that's Batman VR. So you know, playing Batman in VR, you might get a little motion sick with that one. I would expect. I haven't played it myself, so I don't know. But one of the cool games that I remember seeing was like Ace Combat, the airplane fighting dogfighting game. And so like being able to see yourself inside the cockpit and looking around.
Yeah.
The racing games and stuff like that are built for VR. That kind of stuff is cool. It just depends on how intense that action is for that motion sickness syndrome.
Yeah. That's why I just wanted to get the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
So you can fly the.
But a lot of people
The
like
snow
Beat
speeders and
Saber.
stuff.
If you've played Beat Saber, it's the Dance Dance Revolution, but with laser swords, basically like lightsabers.
Oh.
So
We're getting way behind here in gaming.
Yes, God, I'm getting old. This is great.
I tell everybody we're scratching the surface.
Oh, you're catching me up on a lot of this stuff. That's really good, really good. You want a little juvenile destruction?
What's that?
We looking for some juvenile destruction? Yes, of course we are. So here's this week's Off the Roof.
Off the roof.
Go.
Snowman.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in.
Those are pretty good. Like that box you had 2 weeks ago. Plop.
Frosty.
Perfect game too. You're so cold on. I had to do that. So that's this week's Off the Roof, and just to let you know why this all came about, it was back in the day. 'Cause I grew up in this house, and then bought it for my father like 15 years ago or something like that. But we used to have parties here, the old Ragers that would go on, and at some point, someone would get on the roof, and we'd be throwing things off onto the driveway just to watch them explode. It was usually old electronic stuff. But just keeping that tradition alive.
Totally.
We got the Off the Roof that we have to bring up every week.
Well, you need to do Mentos and Diet Coke.
That's not a bad idea. We should try that. And put in the 2-liter, see if it'll do something.
Safe explode. So you can't do the candy coated ones. It's got to be original Mentos. So
you got some experience with this. It sounds like
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters, the original Mentos.
They made a Coca-Cola rocket or whatever using Mentos, or tried to, anyways.
Where did that work? Get it flipped so it hit on the cap?
Well, they do it in a way that you use a string that you pull, and that's what lets that fall in, so you can control it. There's some crazy things that people do with that stuff.
That's way too intense. So you got some stuff coming up here in the next few?
Yeah, so we do a bunch of different things. So every other Saturday we're doing our get together for Mario Kart and Smash Brothers.
Okay.
And so we do that, and if people show up, usually we get enough people to do at least a small tournament. So those are fun. We're doing an esports
Which
tournament.
platform do you do the Mario Kart on then?
Switch. Yep. So Mario Kart 8
Switch? Okay.
Deluxe, and then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then on Sunday, we're doing our first ever hosted esports tournament. So this will be a focused one for Town and Country Credit Union members. So it's specifically for ages 12 to 17. Basically, your parents just have to be a member of the credit union and you can get in.
Oh, okay.
And then grand prize will be a sweet gaming computer chair. And then we're doing 2 chairs, so one for each tournament. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Nice.
and then we got our coffee and cocoa crawl coming up for Frostival with downtown. So basically come for some. We'll be doing hot cocoa at our place with a bunch of different mix-ins. So non-alcoholic mix-ins. We're kid friendly. So
Got a lot of stuff coming up here. Now I grabbed a few photos off your Facebook page while I was creeping on you. Let's go through a couple of these.
Go for it.
I gotta find them. I was sitting
There we
back,
go. Oh, yeah.
relaxed.
This one is because I have a gray Honda Odyssey as well.
Sure.
So I had to I had to show it wasn't only me driving that grocery getter.
Wearing your pajama pants outside with your socks and flip-flops.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm wearing pajama pants now.
How do you do this?
That's definitely the embodiment of Midwest right there, I think.
There's the puppy.
So that's a funny story, actually. So I was sick that day, and so that's my wife taking a nice picture of me. But then we joke that our dog, who is, oh gosh, he is 9 years old. He's going to be 10 years old this year, I think.
Wow. Nice.
And so anyways, so he was a puppy, but we made him a lap dog, and he's 100 pounds. So that's good stuff.
My dog thinks he's a lap dog too. But
So anyways, Tetris 99, that's a good game that I was challenging our community for because I got first place finally. So it's like Fortnite, but with Tetris.
what?
You play Tetris against 99 other players, and yeah, it's a good time.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
So I do a lot of community involvement stuff.
That's awesome.
So Yeah, there's one of the Paradox did their comic sale. Basically, it was a comic garage sale, so we were there present selling games, and there's a lot of people doing board games and stuff. So good stuff.
Is that the Roberts Alley?
Yeah, well, that was behind Paradox. So
okay.
yeah, so and that's a shot of me cleaning our countertop. My brother helped me make this countertop. It's a really cool countertop. It's a bunch of video game screenshots, basically. It was actually hard because I think there's 256 slots and how many images we could put on there, and I had to limit down what I could do with that.
Well, that's cool. So have kind of like an epoxy type coating
Yeah,
over
we
top?
covered it with epoxy to seal it. So
Nice. That's cool.
But that was me getting ready to bike home, and that helmet, it fits within my hoodie, and so I was able to do all that inside my hood and still stay warm. I got a nice shot of my sign behind me there too. So, and then I got some interesting merch that we'll find. So that's a Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask inspired face mask. It's really fun to wear on the public transportation. I wear that on the bus all the time. People don't talk to you when you wear that.
Weirdo.
That's a life hack right there.
Yeah, nice shot of the background there has got all the TVs that we have set up. So, like I said, we got 25 TVs. One of them is a CRT TV. The rest are 55-inch TVs.
So do you ever get any like crazy rage quitting stories or anything? Like just someone had a bad day and they freak out?
Yeah, my brother's thrown enough Nintendos across the room before.
I twisted one apart. Long time.
We have a really nice, solid community base where we, like I said, we focus on being kid friendly.
Yep.
And so if somebody starts excessively swearing, I'll get after them. And I don't mind if we don't have any kids in the store, but oftentimes my wife and son are there, so it helps them be like, hey, just so you know, my kid's here. So usually it helps with the swearing, but we have had people have to take a little break and step outside for a bit.
I think you've had enough.
The raging.
So it's actually hilarious just how many kids kids of all ages, so it's not just kids, it's adults too, but particularly men who all of a sudden have to strut very quickly to the bathroom because they like have to go right now. The game was too intense, they just couldn't like control themselves. It's just hilarious where it's just like they're running out the door to go use the bathroom, and it's like, well, you could have planned that better. You know.
We got stuff coming up. It's interesting people watching on that type of venue. I wouldn't even know. I'd think of it like a bowling alley or something, but I'm sure that's way different.
Definitely gonna go check it out and bring the family out there and then see what we got going on. So
definitely, you got Guitar Hero out there, right?
Oh yeah, we got a whole wall of guitars.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in. So, anything left for the good of the order?
Yeah, it's just like I said, we're a community-supported game store. So if you want to see us succeed, you want to help us succeed, we do have what's called Grow the Vision. And so on our website, replaygames.us, you can go to our online store there, and there's a link where you can do Grow the Vision, and it'll just any dollar amount you want to support us with, and literally it'll help us pay down our debt. So
that's excellent. That's excellent. I got to come and check out your retro games to see what I need. So that's awesome. What times are you open again?
Yeah, so we're open 7 days a week. It's a little bit strange, but primarily Monday through Thursday, 2 to 10 p.m.
2 to 10.
Friday, Saturday, we go late till midnight. With the exception of Saturdays, we open early at noon. Sundays, we stay early at noon, but close early at 8 p.m.
Ah, there we go. Get you home, get you back to school.
Ready for school the next day.
So excellent. Great having you on.
Yeah,
here,
thanks
Cassidy.
for bringing me on.
It was great. I love this talk. It was fun. So remember, if your drummer's got more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing just fine. So until next time.
I pushed the wrong button, Wade. It's way on the bottom here. Okay. Bye everyone. Bye.